Well, Daniel, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Angel.
You said you recognized this spot when you came to Coachella.
Yeah, well, just coming out here for like Coachella, like even like driving out here and seeing like the windmills, like anything as far as like going to Palm Springs or Indio or Coachella Valley reminds me of Coachella Music Festival because I've been going to the festival since 2013.
2013.
Yeah, since 2013. So it's like anytime I see the windmills, anytime I come out this way, like the thing that comes to mind is Coachella, the experiences I've had at Coachella and going to Coachella. Knowing you're the Coachella expert, so it's like it's dope.
That was the year with like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Who else was 2013? Was it Muse?
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang. They played at the outdoor theater now.
And then Dog Blood 2, which was like Skrillex and Boys Noise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was different too. It was before like social media. Like there was some social media, but not really. No one really had social media like that.
That's when like Coachella was like taking off too, like with like selling out like instantly, like resale tickets going crazy too.
Yeah, so those years it was like, oh, tickets go on sale, and then within like 2 hours it was sold out.
Yep.
People would just buy tickets, and then that was the year after Hologram Tupac 2012,
Yeah.
which took Coachella to another level because it was like
The hype was crazy.
the hype was crazy. There was like an episode of South Park Tupac came out, and like all kinds of Hologram Tupac came out at South Park, and yeah, 2013 was crazy. 2014, 15. I feel like after like 2017, that's when everything started shifting more like Instagram and
Social
like
media.
TikTok started. Yeah, YouTube.
Social media houses too.
Yeah, it just started people just being more on their phones. Because you see those clips from back in the day where people were going crazy. And I remember one of my favorite sets of all time was Flostradamus, like
That's hard.
2014, 15. I don't even remember what year it was. I think it was 2015.
We would always get a hype.
And they were just super hyped, super badass. And no one had phones. I have no footage of that. It was just, I just remember having so much fun. I know people complain that the crowds are dead, and maybe the crowd is not as active as it looks on video because
Yeah.
they're showing like drone shots, and people were more active back then. But once you're there live and you feel the vibration and people are singing around you, like it's still fun.
That's what I always tell people is like the experience is what you make it. So like regardless if there's like phones or not, like I think concerts are still fun, just in a different way. Like the same way that the world is still the world, just in a different state, you know? So, you are the vibe. You go to Coachella, you make it a good time because you are the good time.
Yeah,
And people are around you and they're like, damn, I had so much fun at Coachella. I had so much fun at the rave, at the experience because I went with you. So it's like, it's always going to be fun if you make it fun, if you go in with that mindset of, I'm going to make it fun because I am the fun.
yeah, and it's like I'm gonna have the best time. I'm gonna sing along, even if the people around me don't know the songs. I'm gonna sing the songs because I love that song, and you just not be afraid to have fun. There's a lot of negative with everything, not just music and festivals, but it's like you see, like I mean, of course, the protest is happening in LA. Like you'll see that, like maybe go and read like right wing commentary. People are like, oh, LA is a war zone. Don't even why
Go
people
over
go.
there.
Why people live in California and like all these like narratives. But when you're actually there, yeah, maybe things are happening in different parts, but for the most part, it's not as bad as the negative media because negativity thrives. Like
It does.
they want to show the worst aspects of everything. So I think you have to experience things for yourself. Not just read about them. Like go enjoy the things, go do the things.
That's true. I like go into like rabbit holes of like observing that kind of stuff because it's kind of like people don't realize that the algorithms are literally like even like in real world life, you find confirmation bias through how through how the human brain works. It's like you find confirmation bias. It's like if you negative talk about yourself, you're gonna look for things to prove that to be true. If you build yourself up to build up your confidence, you're gonna find confirmation of those things to be true. So these algorithms, this technology, the way that social media works today is literally operating on the same system that the brain operates. It's like everything you tap, everything you like, everything you comment, everything you argue with, everything you engage with, it shows you more of it and feeds into your confirmation bias, whether it's negative or positive. Whether it's negative or positive, whether it's left or right, it's like it's going to show you the confirmation bias to whatever it is that you're engaging with, interacting with, arguing with, liking with, and it's going to amplify that because you're going to spend more time as a consumer on these devices, on these applications, on these pieces of technology, which is how they profit off of you.
Yeah, the time span, this time, no platform wants you to leave that platform. They want you just endless engagement, consuming, and also it's like the people working on these devices, they're like studying to get us addicted. It's like the worst addiction, I think. Everybody's on their phone, like
That's fast.
old people, young people, no matter what, everybody's on their phone. I just like, I do it too. I'm on my phone all day.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm like, fuck, that's crazy. Like, we really are just like so dependent. You know, when you're in a little group of people and someone pulls out their phone, everybody pulls out their phone. Like, it's like,
Psychological, yeah.
let me check if I got any messages or something happened. You know, it's like sometimes they control you, but it's also a cool tool because you're able to not have those barriers that we had back in the day. Like, if you want to start your own brand, you want to start music, you want to start whatever it is, thanks to the technology, we're able to create almost everything with the phone, or, you know, like find the information on the phone. You have access to unlimited information. And then that's also dangerous because there's just, our brains just want to consume more and just want to get more information. And then we go down those rabbit holes where you're like listening to, I'm gonna watch this video. You already kind of have your opinion on it. You just want to see if people agree with you, or
Confirmation bias.
the confirmation bias you're talking about. But I don't know. It's just part of the human experience. But we just have to kind of be aware.
Be aware. I like that.
Be aware of what's happening, and also not just like pick your side. Just kind of see. I like to see commentary on everything. Like
Same. I'm the same way.
Just to see what it is, you know, because it's like, this is humans. Maybe it's a hive mind, but that's how these people are thinking. These people are thinking this, and the arguments on both sides, because the world is not just the headlines, you know.
Yeah. It opens a dialogue too, to seeing things outside of your own perspectives. Like, that's how I think and how I see. Just, I have like a broad range of life experiences. So even things that I don't understand or things that I disagree with, I try and take a step back and say, why do you think or feel that way? And I feel like being able to have that dialogue is what opens up the conversation for unity, which is like, when people are so filled with negativity, sometimes you ask yourself, well, do you even want unity, or are you just enraged with whatever you have going on in your own personal life? Because we all have things going on in our personal lives, and sometimes it's not even about this side or that side. It's more so about whatever you have going on in your personal life that you want to take out on somebody.
Oh yeah, that's projecting and
Yeah.
seeing the worst side of people. But I don't know. I think we got to stay positive. Like we were talking about right before the podcast, because you said sometimes it's hard to share, like during COVID, to share content, or even now when things are bad in the community. It's like, it feels bad sometimes to share positive things, because you're like, damn, I should be posting this. But then you're like, you could be the light.
Yeah.
That some people see.
We are the light, bro.
You are the light. They see you. The community is like, oh, they're doing something. Like, maybe it's a distraction from the horrible things that are happening. But that's good. So tell us a little bit about your brand. Thank you for the gift, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks.
We'll open up at the end of the podcast. We'll open them up for sure.
Go.
I was wearing one of your shirts. So actually, I was following you on Twitter for a while.
I didn't know that.
I don't remember what, maybe a few years I've been following you on Twitter, and I see your commentary, and you were talking about Mexican music one time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this was cool. And then I saw your shirts and everything, and then I followed you on Instagram.
My Twitter got deleted.
Yeah, I started looking it up. I was like, what happened to? Then I followed you on Instagram because of that. And then my wife actually ordered me that shirt, the Corridos and Techno shirt for Coachella. She's like, oh,
Shout out to wife.
she didn't know that I already knew about your brand, and I knew about you. Like, I already had seen you. I seen John Summit wearing it at the afters. No
John Summit.
more afters after the afters.
Shout out John Summit.
How did John Summit do you gift him a shirt, or how did he end up getting the shirt?
How did that happen, actually? Just through, a lot of times when people ask me how things happen, the answer is always just being myself. So I make content, and I make content on things I believe in, and things that I like, and things that I don't like. So I do green screen videos on TikTok or Instagram to cover topics that are relevant within the rave culture, the rave scene, within the electronic music space. So I would just make content pieces covering certain things that he would talk about and giving my perspective and giving my take on it. And he ended up having this take where a lot of people were just throwing shade at the electronic music space in Los Angeles. And I feel like when you get to a certain point of success as a figure, you have a lot of yes people around you. Yes, 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 yes. Like, everybody's going to tell you yes because you're the successful person at the top. Whereas when somebody comes to you and says, no, I disagree with you. And I don't just disagree with you because I disagree with you. I disagree with you because let me add context.
Yeah.
Through that open dialogue I was talking to you about. I pretty much just did a cover video saying like, hey, this is why I disagree with what you're saying about Los Angeles electronic music culture sucking. First of all, I've traveled to 34 countries and I've gone to raves, undergrounds, afters, electronic music festivals, uh, different parties and different raves with different scales from Russia to Mexico City. So when I tell people if I'm gonna talk shit, I'm gonna back it up.
Yeah.
And not even to talk shit, but just to add context, it's like Los Angeles is a global powerhouse to electronic music. From the underground to the mainstream, we have it all. Like, you go on and look in the underground scene, there are endless amounts of underground experiences. Monday through Sunday, you can literally go to an experience from the underground to the merging to the mainstream. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And this isn't like Las Vegas where this is a mega club. This isn't Miami. This isn't New York. This isn't Chicago. This is Los Angeles, that has been a pioneer of the culture, of the music, and DIY, which is something that resonates with me a lot myself. DIY, do it yourself. Build what you can, with the resources that you can. It's like the ethos of myself, my journey as an artist, my clothing brand. And not to derail the conversation, but this all ties into making that content piece about John Summit saying that and saying, hey, for context, everything I just said, this is the history, this is the culture, these are the people that are putting in work, building up these spaces. You should check this out. So he responded to me and he was just like, damn, I didn't think about it that way. Ended up following me on social media, followed me on Twitter, followed me on TikTok. And then I just said, yeah, bro, like, I respect what you do and how you're coming up, because I know he's like from Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, he's built up his brand, he's built up his brand and his career from the ground up. So I have a high level of respect from people, and I know a lot of people hate on him, a lot of people don't like him, but I'll tell you this, he's authentically himself, built his thing up from the ground up. And when you build your thing up from the ground up, like you have, like I have, it's like there's a mutual level of respect regardless of where you come from, versus people that get it, I wouldn't say handed to them, but they have the family backing or the financial resources to, if they fail, it's okay. There's a plan B in stone for them.
Yeah, it's a disconnect, and we see it now that it's more transparent. Back in the day, maybe we didn't see it because we would just see whatever MTV was putting on the TV, you know, like we didn't have control of that, or the radio, the payola and all that. But now it's like you get to see people's careers on social media, and you see them when they're playing, you know, it's still, you're still going to have like those industry plans that they kind of make it seem like they're on their own, but most of them are just grinding out, doing the thing that they love, and just catching a wave and not stopping, just continuing with the high energy. So yeah, so the same thing with the, how you said, the rave scene in LA, that's the pioneers of music. It's just music in general, every, like hip hop in LA,
Everything.
right now the corridos and everything, it all started from LA, like just pop music, some of like Red Hot Chili Peppers and rock, and LA is just the capital of entertainment music. And people that go to LA, they want to, like you said, it's the DIY. Like people move to LA because they know they want to do some cool shit, and they end up doing some cool shit. So,
and even in like the warehouse scene, because like a lot of these parties are thrown in warehouse spaces. They even have corridos parties in warehouse.
Yeah, flyer parties and shit. Yeah,
so sick.
You've been to the flyer party?
I haven't in Los Angeles. Well, I've been to like a lot of different DIY parties, but I've never been to like a corridos warehouse party.
Yeah,
I would love to go to something like that. So
flyer parties. I've been to a few flyer parties, and we have them here in the valley too. There's a couple of homies that do flyer parties. So actually with grupos, I started doing the Desert Underground, and then, because I've been doing with cameras like I do since 2015, learning how to make videos. First, it was on my phone. It was on the iPhone like 4S.
Damn.
And I was editing on iMovie and shit back in the day.
That's crazy.
And then I bought a laptop, iMovie on the laptop, and then ended up getting Final Cut Pro. And then I started doing music videos for hip hop because I had a friend. I was doing like my YouTube videos, and he's like, hey, could we do a video where you interview me for like 30 minutes to promote my album? Just kind of like, he didn't want me to like do a podcast necessarily, kind of just record you talking about the album, asking him some questions, kind of like those GQ or those, you know, those 21 questions type of thing. So I asked him all these questions, and then that was like 2018, and then he dropped another album in 2019. He's a local from here, and then 2019 he wanted another interview, and I was like, let's just do a podcast. And that was my first podcast episode, because my friend wanted to promote his album. We just had a conversation, no terrible audio, one angle, whatever, you know,
got? Yeah,
whatever
what
we
you
had.
got?
Boom, first podcast, and then from there I started interviewing more artists, and I started shooting music videos. So I've shot over like 100 music videos over the last like 5 years for mostly Mexican music.
Yeah.
En vivos. So the en vivos is like they're playing the instruments live. You just have to set up like 2 or 3 cameras and then record as they play the songs. We have an audio engineer getting the audio.
It's hard.
So I was doing all these videos and just dabbling in the arts, music, whether it's attending music festivals, creating podcasts on to artists, shooting music videos. Is like music is just, I love being around
your world,
music,
yeah.
creatives, people with, that are just doing stuff. With like we want to be around people that are doing stuff. I lost my train of thought actually, but every time
I think it's good when the conversations get derailed. We were like, well, I was telling you, like,
I don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
it's talking about the story about
John
John
Summit getting
yeah.
a t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, so through that scope of lens, I think that's cool too, because that's how I feel like me and you align, is through passion for music. But going back to the John Summit question, yeah. So through making content pieces that pretty much just covered what he was talking about, and me not being a yes man, and adding my own perspective on it, which opened up dialogue for him to see what the underground rave scene really is and how it pioneers in the United States. He ended up following me on Twitter and TikTok, had conversations on there, and I was just like, I respect what you do, and shot him some product. Didn't think anything of it. I feel like it takes a lot to just send out that kind of energy, because it's kind of like, I was just like, I wasn't expecting anything. I was like, a lot of people, when I respect their work, it's just pretty much a mutual exchange of energy.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is a token of appreciation for what you do, who you are. This is me giving to you, and that's it. Didn't expect anything of it. He ended up posting it like crazy. His manager ended up posting it, and for me, it was kind of like a first like high point of success. I ended up being able to move to Los Angeles off that experience. Shout out John Summit.
That's hard.
Yeah, so beyond that, I guess it was just like shocking to me, because I've always found, I didn't build a brand to be cool or to think I was cool, or for DJs, like for people to think I was cool because my, DJs are wearing my brand. Like I built it up because I literally grew up in the rave scene and wearing streetwear, and I wanted something to be a platform for representation. So seeing so many new people flood to the brand and telling me, wow, I think your brand is cool now because John Summit's wearing it, I was just like, well, thank you, but you're late. It's like the brand's been hot, the brand's been cool, and my biggest thing has always been flexing the people that wear my brand, buy my brand, support my brand, because it's like, really, from a financial perspective to a community perspective, to the people showing up to my pop-ups, to the people buying my product, we literally build up the brand together. So if you're telling me, hey, I think your brand's cool because the DJ is wearing it, I'm like, all right, that's cool, that's fair, but I'm going to keep it pushing. Thank you so much. I appreciate John Summit wearing XXXDCD. I appreciate Deorro wearing XXXDCD and every other DJ that wears the brand. And I see them the same way I see everybody else wearing my brand. So it's like, let's keep running it up.
Yeah, is that like the energy, like the collective energy of the brand? Because everything has energy. Like
Literally.
every entity, company, whatever it is, we're all energy. That's what it is. It's like how much energy you can create. Like some of these artists, they have crazy energy. They're able to influence a lot of people or industries.
Yeah.
But they all start from the bottom up, like you said, is like the DIY, the different stuff. So tell us a little bit about what year that you start making this brand, and just tell us a little bit about why you chose to go in this direction. Like why you say you're starting to go. You went to Coachella 2013, but you were probably going to raves and shit before that, right? Like,
yeah.
What's your journey with like live music and everything?
I started going to raves in 2009. My cousin invited me out to a club, Gotham City, in San Bernardino.
Yeah, that's San Bernardino with the DJ with the Chucky mask.
Yeah, DJ Bland.
DJ Bland and
DJ Rowdy, rest in peace.
Dude, that was like a different era. Everyone was wearing fucking the shufflers and all that shit.
And to add context to that, like, that changed my life, because I ended up I was just like, whoa, like I always felt like an outsider. Yeah. So when I experienced something like that, the rave culture, the rave scene, I ended up hardcore falling in love with it. Ended up going to EDC, the last one in Los Angeles. that's just been my journey. And from there on, just ended up doing bigger and bigger events. So this all ties into like the brand story. So like this gives you a perspective of who I am, what's been my journey, and how the brand organically just came about. I think that's where I relate to you within your own journey, where it's like you didn't just force anything or you didn't set out to do something. You just had passions and you ended up leaning into those passions to express yourself and say, hey, these are the things that I like. This is what I do. This is what I know. And this is a platform. So it's XXXDCD clothing and platform. We make clothing and it's a platform. So after I did EDC Los Angeles in 2010, I ended up doing Ultra Music Festival in Miami by myself in 2013. And then after that, I was just like, okay, well, what's the next big thing? Which was Tomorrowland. Everybody dreams about going to Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
So I'm first generation. I'm the first person in my family to go to university and graduate from university. And while I was in university, I was just like, how can I go to Belgium? Ended up working political campaigns, just straight grinding, raising up money, doing study abroad in London. Came back from London. Did study abroad in London. And after my program was over, stayed and lived in London by myself.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
What year was this?
That was in 2014.
2014.
Yeah, 2014. So while I was living in London, I ended up doing Tomorrowland. Ended up doing Tomorrowland, ended up doing EDC when they had it in the UK, which was a crazy experience too.
Yeah.
So I was raving in the UK, living in the UK, did Tomorrowland in Belgium, traveled to Amsterdam, Netherlands. And for me being first generation Mexican American, the music aside, I was like experiencing just talking to people.
Yeah, insane experience all over the world. Yeah.
Just like thousands and thousands of miles away. And, this sounds like really cool and stuff. There were hardships during those experiences as well.
Yeah.
But I came back to the Inland Empire wanting to share my experiences and wanting to inspire people around me, friends, family, to just have a platform to say, hey, if this guy can do it, I can do it too. Which has always been like the ethos to my brand, is like all of my wins within my community are from the perspective of a leader leading. I show people what I've done, believing in myself, hard work, not quitting, failing, eating shit, and keeping it pushing. So I always say that one of the best ways to show people is not by showing them through your words. It's through showing people through your actions. So came back from all those experiences and people were like, yo, like from the Inland Empire where I'm from, it's like people don't travel for starters. And the only other place that I had ever traveled to growing up was Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back to the Inland Empire and telling my friends like, yo, like this is what it was like living in London. Like this is what it was like traveling Europe. And I want everybody to experience that. I know that there can be a lot of hate within Mexican Latino culture, but I've always been a firm believer in being the example that you want to see in your community. A lot of people will lean into negativity. A lot of people will complain. A lot of people will hate. And I tell them, well, what are you doing to make it better?
Yeah.
So coming back from living in London to the Inland Empire, I always had like this moniker on YouTube, which I came up with, XXXDCD, which came about from me using my first and last name, Daniel Campos. YouTube had already had a username with that. So it suggested putting my initials at the end, XXX Daniel DC, already taken. So back in the day, people would put lowercase capital, lowercase x. So I put XXX Daniel DC, already taken as well. So then I just swapped the initials backwards, XXX Daniel CD, XXX Daniel CD. And I just shortened it down to XXXDCD. People would always ask me, hey, why is there an XXX in your name? What does that stand for? What does that mean? So it was already like a conversation starter way before
From the beginning.
Yeah. Shortened it down to XXXDCD, used it as a hashtag on Twitter. And I was just sharing my photos with that hashtag in 2014, late 2014. So summer of 2015, I'm going to work with my dad, construction in the sun. And
What construction was it?
He does a little bit of everything.
Oh, like handyman or just
Yeah, like
multi. Yeah.
builds walls, lays cement. He can do like a lot of handyman stuff too. Like any scope of work that you can think of is just crazy. He like figures it out.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, like he's built walls, he's laid out concrete, he's done plumbing. He's done plumbing.
Yeah,
And
plumbing's hard.
yeah, it's
Yeah, you fuck up, and that's like a big liability. But other than that, fuck it.
yeah.
No, that's right now the fucking construction. Like just sad seeing all the raids at work and shit. Or like at Home Depot, I started seeing some shit yesterday. Like
Did you?
I forgot where. I think in Santa Ana or somewhere they were like chasing somebody in the Home Depot. There's like a nice inside of Home Depot. This guy's running around. It's just like that's sad, bro. Like these guys,
Unnecessary.
they're working. They're trying to fucking work, and they're just getting harassed at work and shit. Bro. Anyway, so anyway, you continued on.
Yeah, so I worked with my dad for the summer, gathered up $300 from working with him in the freaking sun. I remember it was just like moving block, digging out holes, rearranging planters just in the sun. Gathered up $300, and then I had no background apparel, like at all. Like I didn't have anybody to teach me. That's why I always tell people like, you guys are so blessed that you have TikTok where you can learn
Oh yeah,
like how to create a product within minutes. Like you literally shrink the gap of being able to learn. Like it's so easy that it's hard. It's so easy. You have so much information. You have so much access to resource that it becomes a thing where it debilitates people to not create. Whereas,
too much information.
yeah, it's an overload of information. It's like anybody can do it. And you hear that a lot right now. It's like with anything, whether it's podcast, clothing, content, business, it's like anybody can do it. And I lean into that and I'm like, anybody can do it. It's so easy to do it that people will not do it. And you really just sit with that and think about that, because anybody really can do it, but they won't.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, they're like, oh, you're not afraid to give out your plugs for this, and that. I was like, I can give my plugs to people. I can hold your hand. I can walk you, and people still will not do it. So to have that context, I went on freaking Google, looked up an embroidery spot in Los Angeles, looked up where I can buy hats, drove out to LA from the Inland Empire, figured this out, got taxed like crazy to make 2 sample hats with XXXDCD on them. And I wanted to make those hats in time for Hard Summer 2015 at the Pomona Fairplex. And I was just like, I grew up wearing streetwear, so I was already always wearing streetwear. And now I wanted to wear my own thing where I was like, hey, I lived out in London. I traveled. I'm from the Inland Empire. I want to inspire people to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like positivity has always been the ethos. Uplift, motivate, inspire in any way, shape, or form. Like maybe that doesn't look like what my experiences have been to you, but the message has always been that from day one. And so I got these hats, I got these sample caps, wore them to Hard Summer. People I went with to Hard Summer, tell them about the story, and then just through going to raves and talking to people, and people asking me, hey, what's that hat? Or me sharing my story of what these hats meant. People started reaching out and buying the caps that either knew me or had met me at raves.
Yeah.
And just took it from there.
And meeting the people or meeting other people at raves or festivals is like, it's really cool because everybody there has like good energy. I don't know. I feel like people that go to festivals,
For sure.
they just see life with a just different perspective. I don't know. I experienced a lot of good conversations for sure. Especially if they're watching similar artists that you guys like. Is like, well, you said it was Hard Summer 2014 or 15?
15.
15. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
2015.
The one I went to was 2014, where it was like at a forest or like at a
The
park.
weird, narrow part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh my god! When the festival ended,
I heard about that.
it took me like 2 hours to find my car, bro, because I didn't put a pin and I didn't know where I was, and there was like no help from nobody. Like nobody knew anything, so
That was chaotic.
that shit was chaotic. It was raining too. I remember it was raining. I think on day 2, but it was so much fun though. Like being around like the trees and all that shit. Like there was a
I
lot
heard
of.
about that one, yeah.
So that one's cool. That's I'm trying to go to, or we'll talk about Hard Summer in a little bit, but
Yeah.
so yeah, so you started doing that, and then you've been doing this since 2015 then.
Yeah. 2015 is to the date, it's 10 years. And it's kind of when people ask me like, how long have you been doing it for? It's kind of hard to answer that question because I was never able to financially position myself to be able to do artist career full time. Like I was going to school full time as a university student and had to provide for myself. Like I'm the child of immigrants, so like my parents weren't like trust funding me. We're like, hey, here's like 30 grand a month to be able to do whatever you want and survive and live your life. Like
Yeah.
I was out here figuring out how to make money A, B, C, or D way and just finding my path. So that's like to add context to what the game is right now. Like you can blow up with an apparel brand within 1 year, a couple months, and like people will try and like sell you on that. Um, People will try and sell you on that instant gratification, but I take a look back at my journey and what it's cost me to learn, to grow, to experience, to meet people, and it's like sometimes the slow burn is what creates that longevity for life. So sometimes, you know, we want to compare ourselves, our artist journey to this person and that person because it looks like they blew up
Instantly. Yeah.
instantaneously. Yeah. But for me, it's like I've been in the rave scene since 2009. I've been into streetwear since 2009. I've been learning how to create, I should say, products since 2015, whether it was hats, t-shirts, screen printing, embroidery. Like the learning curve for me has not been an easy one.
Yeah. No, but all that experience, now that you have easier platforms now, like people are selling on TikTok, people are making videos and blowing up on TikTok. And do you use, so you see all the stuff, I always see Gary Vee. Do you watch like Gary Vee?
I like his content. Yeah.
His content is like, oh, you got to be posting TikTok. You're like one video away from blowing up your brand and this and that. So to be honest, I hate TikTok, bro.
Really?
I don't use it. Like I have followers there and I posted some of my same videos, but for some reason I just don't know how to use the platform. Like I don't know. YouTube for me has been YouTube. YouTube's like YouTube's the one I've been using. So
maybe we can help each other out on that.
yeah, for sure. I just don't like TikTok. Fuck TikTok, Nas. And ban that shit right now. But TikTok helps you out with sales and people just sharing.
For me, yes. Like I feel like it's always just find what works for you, right? Like I understand the respect of YouTube too. For me, the thing I like about TikTok is that it's like so instantaneous that I can create a video within like 10 minutes and put it out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's always like don't expect or don't be desperate about like when you create things. Like sometimes the things that you create and like end up not over tweaking and perfecting end up blowing up and doing crazy numbers, and you're just like, I didn't even try. How about that?
Yeah.
Versus the one that you're just like absolutely putting all these hours in, you know, you're flying drone shots, you're going out to the site to take the freaking content piece, and then it just flops and you're just like, well, part of the game. Let's keep it pushing.
Yeah, those flops when it's like a high production video, it sucks, but it's still a high production video. Like you gotta also appreciate like, oh shit, we did some cool shit. Like maybe it didn't get as many views or didn't lead to many sales, but you still have that experience. Like it's all adding to that experience. Like, oh, I went to the shoot and I did this video. Right now when you're saying that, like I was telling you before the podcast, I've been working on the Coachella videos. I've been working it for 2 months. Like, so this year, because I've been doing these vlogs by myself since like 2019.
Yeah.
And this year I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with some friends. So I actually got like 5 people to help me record. We got these Osmo Pockets, this little camera here.
That's hard.
It's called Osmo Pocket. So while I was like vlogging, I had other people helping me record and doing interviews inside the festival, recording different sets. So we have so much footage, like just hours and hours of Coachella content. And I was like, I need to make it's hard to get people to click multiple times. Then I was like, maybe I should just have one big vlog. But then it's the amount of footage and different angles and everything that we're doing. Right now I'm sitting on like 7-8 hours of footage.
Damn.
That already trimmed down from like 15 hours into like 8 hours. And now I'm sitting on this and I'm like, I need to make it more digestible because people are not going to stay for 8 hours. But then I had a friend, he's like, people fucking go on Twitch and stream 24 hours a day. Like there's consumers out there. Like people,
everything, yeah, there's a market.
So I might I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. Maybe make it into smaller 20-30 minute episodes, or day 1, day 2, day 3, or like a 6-hour film.
That'd be hard
with chapters, and then release it individually after. So once you have the main one, So basically, I have it's weekend because I went both weekends. So it's a vlog from both weekends, and I'm combining it all into like one story. Interviews, moments, performances. Some performances we end up getting with multiple angles. So I have like yeah, just it's so much footage. I'll show you some stuff, but that's the thing I've been like working for the last 2 months. I gave myself a deadline to finish it the end of July. That was like 3 months.
Wow.
So
Locked in.
The last 2 months I've been working on it, and then everything started happening with all the ice raids and everything, like the wars. So then it's like I don't even want to feel like posting on social media. So I've just been kind of off social media. I still go on it and stuff, but I've been mostly just working on this project, so behind the scenes.
You're gonna get it done. I don't think there's a wrong answer. And then I think we touched on it. I don't know if we touched on the podcast, but it was like the conversation we had earlier. I completely hear you on like feeling guilty when you're creating, when like the world is like, it feels like the world is burning to the ground.
Yeah.
And like I had mentioned earlier, it's like the perspective I like to add to that is that a lot of times we as creators are that representation in all of these spaces, one, and then also you never really know who's watching what you're building and creating and how you're developing yourself as an individual through what you're creating as a leader in these spaces. One, you're setting the example in that world, and then also it isn't until you go outside into spaces, experiences, concerts, raves, out and about, that people tell you, hey, the thing you're creating, whether it's a content piece or media or a brand or a t-shirt, is the thing that kept me going through my hard time. So it's always like a perspective that I like to add as well, because it's like you look at it from like, imagine like a cartoon perspective where the entire world is burning down, and then you're over here shining a light on positivity, and
Yeah.
a lot of people are in a negative headspace right now, yet you're this positive light that is like, you're the beacon of hope through your existence of being positive. You shine a light in the community, and people can feel that when it's genuine and authentic. People will speak and tell you, hey, they'll shoot you a DM, they'll talk to you in person when they see you at an event. I really appreciate you doing what you're doing, putting on for us, representing for us. Keep going, keep doing your thing. Like, you're that representation. So just context to add to what you're saying. And you never really know until you talk to people, or until they reach out and you're like, damn, like it's crazy. I'm glad I put that out.
Yeah, that's true. You do get it once those conversations is like I have a few clips in there similar to what you're saying, is like, you're like, oh, I look forward to your videos all the time. I'm watching your videos. I refresh. Like sometimes you put out videos and there's no comments. There's barely any likes.
Literally.
But there's people watching.
Yes.
But it's like sometimes people don't like to engage, but they're watching, they're supporting.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like, wow, that's cool. He dropped another thing, or maybe they didn't buy it or whatever. But they're watching and they're still giving you that energy.
Literally.
And in person, those conversations, like you said, someone will come up to me and like, oh, I watch your videos, and like I never had an interaction with this person, but they're like, oh, I feel like I watch all your stuff, man. It's crazy we're here. Mostly at Coachella, because most of my videos are about Coachella. But it's like that's just motivating too. It's like, oh shit, people are paying attention. Or like the shit trips me out is when someone's like, oh, I went to all the music you recommended and I had like the best time. I discovered this artist. And I only speak on like things that I know or some research that I do too. So sometimes it's hard for me to recommend music because I'm like, I don't know what people like. You know, it's like, this is what I like. These are the artists I might watch at Coachella or at this festival. And then I give a list on the shit that I'm going to watch. And then some people are like, oh, I follow your recommendations and that show's hard. Or like, oh, I put out a playlist based on like your recommendations and your predictions and this and that. So then it's like, gives you an, like, oh shit, there's people that are watching, there's people that are resonating, and maybe they're not showing it right away, but it's part of the same energy that you're creating.
They remember
you're creating that energy, and people are gravitating towards the energy. And yeah, no, for sure. I think definitely going past the fear, because the fear is part of their game plan. Like the people that control us, you know, to get us in fear so they could control us better, so they could like,
oh, for sure,
and get their policies passed and all that shit. So you gotta keep it going.
Yeah.
So what's next for this summer? You have a collaboration with Heart Summer. So can you tell us a little bit what that's about? A little sneak peek.
I'll do the drop actually on here. We've been like teasing it and teasing it and teasing
I know. I seen your post. I was like, what was this? What's happening?
So we're gonna be running a curated experience at Hard Summer this year, and it actually ties into everything we were talking about throughout this interview podcast experience content. It's a booth that we're setting up at Hard Summer this year, and the intention. Let's remove the idea. The intention behind this XXXDCD booth at Hard Summer this year is representation for Latinos and Mexicans in the rave music festival space. So the curation is independently funded by me, designed by me, and it's going to be a love letter to Mexican Latino culture, people that are within the rave and music festival space, so that they can see this experience and see a version of themselves. And especially with everything going on right now in Mexican Latino community, again, tying into what we just said, it's like this booth experience is going to allow for people to come and say, hey, I see myself in here. This is a positive light. This is a win for somebody like me. This is a positive experience in the midst of everything burning in chaos around me.
Yeah.
Allowing people to come and say, hey, wow, like this Mexican-owned rave wear independent brand that was built by a child of immigrants is running work at the hottest music festival of the summer. So that's my intention with it. The curation, the design is Mexican Latino representation. And that was the conversation that I had with Insomniac when they asked me, how do you want to do this thing? Immediately, I was like, it's going to be Mexican Latino representation. That's my intention. If we can't go with that, it's not going to happen. So I'm just so unapologetic about putting on with us, which has been like the aura, or not the aura, which has been kind of the intention behind how I built everything, whether it's in my content, whether it's in the creative spaces, whether it's in the apparel industry, whether it's in electronic music and rave. Like, I'm always just very unapologetic about putting on with us. Like, when I hear people talk about protests, it's like, bro, I've been the protest my whole life.
Yeah.
Going into these spaces that are not traditionally Mexican and Latino, being around people that don't look like me,
Yeah.
come from a background like me, it's like, I'm taking up space. And like, when you're taking up space in these spaces, it takes a lot to build yourself up, to show up and have conversations and be in these rooms, knowing that you deserve to be in these rooms off of what you built. So it's like, when people support me, I'm like, this is what you're supporting.
Yeah.
I'm putting on for us. And it's not just like a cliche slogan. It's like, I'm really putting on for us. And that's why it gets under my skin when I see people cosplaying, supporting our culture or our people, but yet they want to make profit off of us. And Mexicans and Latinos are some of the biggest spenders in the festival world, in the rave scene, whether it's underground, whether it's mainstream. Like, that's not some sort of made up imaginary concept. Like, no, we literally are some of the biggest spenders when it comes to tickets
to anything. The movie theater industry, there was a report because the Mexican Latinos are the ones that spend the most money at the movie theater every year. So all those Marvel movies are breaking records.
Yep.
It was Latino families, and I, as a kid, we used to love going to movies as a family. Like, we didn't really go to like Disney or a lot of like trips, but we always go to movies as a family. They fucking whatever movies were coming out back then. But the same thing with concerts. Like, here, they built that Acrisure Arena that I told you about. On year one, it was 70% of the shows were other type of shows, 30% were Mexican shows. But they made way more money on those 30% of shows. That year two was 70% Hispanic shows, because here in the Valley is like mostly Hispanic. So the arena from year one to year two was like 70% of their booking for the year was like shows for Latinos, because they're the one that are selling out the arena every single time, because we love community events, experiences. And that's so good that you said that too, because raves and festivals, you don't, at least you see it more now, but before it's like Latinos weren't really, I never really saw, like when I was going to Coachella those years, 2013, 14, 15, we're like very small amount of Mexicans, Latinos. The last like 3 or 4 Coachellas you saw more, but
way more.
the same thing, like if you see some people that look like you or that are similar culture doing that thing, it inspires other people to maybe they want to be part of it, or they see, oh, that fool could do it. Let's go to that rave. That one fool was there. Let's go. Like
Facts.
subconsciously, like maybe they're not even thinking like that. They're not
Yes.
thinking, oh, I saw some Mexican food I could go to. Like they're thinking, oh, we should go to that rave now. Like
Somebody that looks like me.
yeah,
So,
you
like-
see it. So it's subconsciously it opens doors, and that's super sick. A hard summer having your own. So it's gonna be like a booth experience. You know where it's gonna be at, or
I don't know yet.
okay,
I'll be posting that kind of things, but it's like not just like a booth, like a tent. We're building like a 10 by 20 space.
like an actual experience.
Yeah, like an actual experience. Like I use the word experience. Like maybe I shouldn't even use the word booth because people will think it's like a tent or something, but it's a curated experience that the intention behind it. The title of this experience is La Tiendita. La
Okay.
Tiendita by XXXDCD, a hard summer music festival experience where the experience is going to be curated around representation for Latinos and Mexicans in the rave festival space. And going back to what I was saying to tie this in, it's like we're some of the biggest spenders on tickets, on merchandise, and on alcohol sales. So it's like, you know, a lot of people like to cosplay that they support and that they're with us and all this and that. But it's like, well, let me see you add us on the lineup. Let me see you run work with us on merchandise. Let me see you stand up for us. And I almost bully people into having to do that versus just talking about it in one post and then never doing anything about it.
Okay.
Because I'm very unapologetic about that. I'm like, if you're going to say that, then I need you to stand on business.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing, you know, with this booth is me standing on business. Because like I said earlier, I can say all these things, but if I'm just talking, then what does that do for anybody? Nothing.
Yeah.
Let me put my money where my mouth is, curate an entire experience for people to come and say, yo, somebody that is Mexican, child of immigrants, literally put on this crazy experience. And if I can get music playing there, like on speakers or in some way, shape, or form, I'm playing corridos the entire time.
Yeah.
Or we're playing corridos at Hard Summer.
That's
Like,
hard.
who else is going to do that? Who else is going to do that?
That's badass.
So it's like, this is really what it's led up to. And like everything from, you know, me going to university, me from traveling, knowing how to speak to people, working political campaigns, working different government sectors, work in construction in the sun, like every single experience I feel like is compiled for this moment because it sounds cool in content, but it's also about like really just destroying my comfort zone into something that is like shocking my nervous system to figure out how to take the brand to the next level.
Yeah.
It's also not just about like, for me, it's like, yes, it's a representation, but it's also like me, like if I was a DJ, this is the me playing at the main stage, closing out the festival moment where I need to really show up and the idea is cool and people like it and it's hype and people are going to want to, you know, A, B, C, or D, but I also have to think steps ahead. It's like, okay, well, how can I leverage this? How can I build? How can I show people that support me? How can I show people within my community, within my family, within my group of people that are also creating, hey, this is how we run work as Mexicans, as Latinos, as child of immigrants. This is how we run work. This is how we lean into it. This is how we build off of it. And this is how we all grow together off of it. So moving forward, how can I continue to grow and continue to curate experiences like this where now it's like not just content and clothing. It's also like we're putting on these experiences, whether it's at a music festival or over here or over there, where we're unapologetically representing and taking up space as Latinos, as Mexicans. Like, this is just my vision.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what, you know, the clothing brand, the content isn't always just directly throwing in people's faces like, hey, like, this is who we are, like, buy from us. It's that unapologetic representation that you do not see anywhere else. And that's really my intention with the Hard Summer XXXDCD La Tiendita experience. Figuring it out, leading, representing, and showing people this is how I did it, this is how we lean into it, and this is how we build and take the brand to the next level together. Because it's not like I'm just going to throw the experience and I'm going to freaking just chill afterwards and never do anything because I hit a moment of success. It's like, let's keep the ball rolling. Let's keep taking things to the next level. And let's keep building so I can show again, show, not just talk about leading as a leader in the community. Let me see how I can show you with physical experience, with social proof, how I did this, how I'm going to take this to the next level, how I'm going to keep representing for us, and how you can also do the same thing within whatever you're doing. Maybe you're going to school, maybe you want to travel, maybe you want to go to the gym, whatever that may look like for you. The brand is clothing and platform because it's a platform for you to also take from that, throw the brand on, and go run work in your own lane.
Yeah. No, that's super hard. I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna go and start summer too, so
Let's go.
I'm definitely gonna stop by the booth and check it out or the experience. I always see these experiences that they do at Coachella during like the Golden Voice, Black Voices, and
Yeah.
these things, but then not that much for Latinos. So
No.
assuming there's like a festival, like that's super sick. And especially like you said, like I want to make it like La Tiendita, corridos, and people come in here and they,
what it is,
they get
bro.
to see the whole experience because people are gonna go in a hard summer. They're gonna be a lot of Latinos at hard summer for sure. You know, it's like
Facts, bro. Facts.
I don't know the percentage, but a high percentage of the attendees are definitely gonna be Latinos for sure in LA. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this
Thank you.
this for you, and definitely gonna be checking it out. So let me
Let's go.
let's open it up. Open up the package. ASMR.
And even like in the festival space, like you said, it's like there's not a lot of Latino representation. So we're going to kick the door down, show them that this makes sense. And I got to be the one to create the blueprint. So let's get it. Let's go. No more afters after the afters.
No more afters after the afters. Let's see. And I'll check it.
I love that piece.
I know that shit's bad.
This is another one of the best sellers too. This was supposed to be limited, and then people were just going crazy with it. So I was just like, all right, let's keep it up.
We have the front, the logo,
Let's go. XXXDCD.
and then boom.
Don't fall in love with the rave.
Don't fall in love with the Raven. I love the pink actually.
It goes hard, huh?
Yeah, I like light colors. Light colors.
I'm glad you like it, man. Thank you for having me on here.
I'll do some photo shoots for sure. But thank you, bro. Thank you, Darren, for coming on the podcast and sharing everything with. I got inspired from you, from like just sitting across from you. So
Thank you, man.
thank you for definitely stopping by, making the drive, and I want to have you on in the future too.
Let's do it.
We'll run it again, and for sure we're gonna be a hard summer checking out your stuff. Where can people find you on social media? So what happened to your Twitter actually? Why you say it got deleted?
It got hacked by some sort of random like spam attack or something like that. I got an email saying somebody had logged into my account from Indiana, and then I no longer had access to my account.
Oh shit!
So like just something super insane. From one day to the next, my account was gone.
Damn.
I tried to recover my account, and they say that there's no way to verify, which is insane to me because I also had a verified account on Twitter, X.
Mm-hmm.
Tried reaching out to them like at least 50 times, and to this day never got back on the account. Well, I made a new Twitter, but it just hasn't been the same, you know.
Twitter went downhill, bro. Like it's just it's so many bots and just like that's negative energy. So I still go on Twitter just to kind of see like the commentary in real time and shit. But to be honest, it's just not what it used to be.
Yeah.
It's just too political, too weird. But yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you have TikTok, you have other accounts where people could follow you.
Yeah.
And share the message. Like maybe you had success on Twitter and all that, but now
TikTok,
the same
Twitter.
shit.
Yeah. I mean,
That's just a distribution platform. The thing that matters is still you and the brand, you know. So
yeah, it took I was a little sad about it, but I'm like always a firm believer like turning a negative into a positive or shifting the frame or shifting the mindset, because I'm just like, okay, well, now I'm not going to procrastinate and waste time on Twitter. And what am I going to do? Like cry about it and then quit the brand and never do anything again? I was like, no, got to keep it pushing. So leaning into building my audience like on an email platform where I can communicate with people that buy from me via email. Because it's also like, you got to remember, regardless if you're on, you know, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, like we don't own these platforms. So you hear a lot of like really, really massive, successful people that just lean way too into one platform as you like begin to grow on something, where they get their account deleted and then they have absolutely nothing, no way to communicate with their people, no way to drive sales, no way to reach their audience. And I feel like that's what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket.
yeah,
So now I'm just kind of like, well, Twitter got deleted. You know, I made a new one, not the same, whatever. Have TikTok, have Instagram. Like, regardless of what it is, it's like if a social media platform gets deleted, gets banned, gets, you know, goes missing overnight, they destroy the internet, or, you know, they ban us from the internet, where it's like North Korea, where you can't even access the freaking internet. Like,
Yeah,
I'm still going to keep creating.
for
I'm
sure.
still going to keep connecting with my audience, with my people.
You connecting with people in real time.
Yeah.
In the physical world, not the fake world. I feel like there's gonna be some kind of censorship because people are banding together. You know, like
Yeah.
we're not falling for the same narratives that they're trying to push us with these wars and everything. So I feel like in our lifetime we're gonna get some kind of social media ban or something. They got to be doing something because they're kind of losing control a little bit. But
I keep.
we just gotta keep pushing.
We got to keep pushing, bro.
All right. Well, Daniel, thank you for coming to the podcast. Make sure you guys follow him on social media. We'll put the links in the description. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Make sure to subscribe.
All right, for sure. So let's sing this shit.
Thank you, bro.